There is some huge news today coming from Canva. So if you're a Canva user and you create graphics for your business, this is going to be big news for you too. So it has just come out that Canva has acquired Affinity. Now, if you don't know what Affinity is like an alternative to Adobe. So they have 3 different programs. They've got Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher. So that's an alternative to Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, and Adobe InDesign. What's great about Affinity is that it does a lot of the things that Adobe software does. It does a lot of those more advanced things. You can work with vectors, you can create more complex things, use pen tools, you can do a lot of more complex stuff that Canva can't do. And a lot of the tools that people will still stick with Adobe for because they think, oh, Canva can't do all those things. So it's a really great alternative to Adobe software. And a lot more people are looking at using it because their pricing is a lot better too. They are just a one-time price and way lower than Adobe. Now, many years ago, Adobe software you would have to buy outright and be thousands of dollars. Then they moved to a subscription model, but even the subscription model is still quite expensive. So what Affinity offers is a one-time payment that's quite lower. So you're only paying around $200 to get the software rather than thousands of dollars. And so it's a lot more affordable and it can still do all those more advanced things. So why is it so exciting that Canva has now acquired Affinity? Because a lot of things that Canva couldn't do, Affinity can do. And both companies, Canva and Affinity, are about making things more accessible, not super crazy expensive, and more user-friendly, which really opens things up for Canva in becoming a more powerful tool and design suite. So what could this mean in terms of the market share that they take? Does this mean more people are going to jump ship from Adobe and just use Canva? Because there's a lot of talk in the design world, people dissing on Canva, oh, Canva can't do this and that, and how could people call themselves a designer if they just use Canva? Well, if Canva is then acquiring Affinity and now able to do a lot of those more advanced things, maybe we'll see more people moving over to Canva. What I think really is going to happen is it's more about what market share they're taking. Adobe is going to be more after those big companies, you know, the big design companies that can really afford the more expensive prices and the more complex software. Whereas Canva, working with Affinity, is going to be going more for people like us, the small businesses, those of us that don't want to be spending thousands of dollars because we're just creating stuff for our own small business. We haven't got this huge team, we haven't got huge massive budgets. We just want to be able to create some graphics for our business, work on our own logo and design elements. We need something that is super fast and easy to use, something that's more affordable and something that feels very user-friendly and feels like it actually cares about us, because I think a lot of people feel like Adobe doesn't care about the small people. And maybe that's the market shift here that we're seeing, is that Adobe's going to move more towards those big businesses, whereas Canva's really going to focus on the smaller businesses like us, and by acquiring Affinity they're going to be able to offer us more so that we more feel like, well, I don't really need Adobe because now I've got everything I need in this software. The next question is, how might they integrate this? Will they put everything into Canva? Are they going to start bringing all those technologies and tools that are within Affinity and put it into Canva? Or are they going to create more of a product suite? Which is what I'm starting to wonder if that's what they're trying to do. Because they've created things like docs and presentations that sort of start to take over things like Microsoft Office. Maybe they're also going to integrate a section that's more the high-end design, the things that Affinity can do. And basically Canva is going to create some sort of product suite where you're able to use different tools depending on what you're working on. And of course, this would make Canva really powerful because we're not needing all these different softwares and tools to do the things we need to do and create things for our business. We can just go to Canva and use all the different tools within there to create what we need to create. And it's going to make things more streamlined and easy because we can keep all our files in one place. Things are more organized and structured, and it's all very quick and easy. That's something I think a lot of people love about Canva, and I've noticed a lot more people using Canva, especially for things like social media graphics, because it is quick. Trying to create like an Instagram post in Adobe Illustrator is a lot slower process. Jumping on Canva and quickly putting it together is so much quicker. And I think integrating these more complex tools into Canva means a lot of design stuff is going to get easier. And this is going to make such a big difference for the small business because we're trying to do so many things. Often it's just one person or a very small team. And so we don't have this huge team of people to help us create all this different content and things for our business. And so we want it to be quick and easy and simple. And also you want to focus on what you're best at, the thing you're actually doing in your business, the reason you started a business, not just being stuck in all these different software all the time, trying to figure out how to create and design things. You want to be able to market yourself, get things out quickly, and that's what Canva really offers. Now, even if they don't integrate it all as one, but rather they just own Affinity and somehow they put it together as one thing, I can still see that it's still going to be very cost effective in that Canva and Affinity are both about keeping the cost lower. They're not like Adobe where it's super expensive. Having Canva Pro doesn't cost too much. Buying Affinity costs so much less than buying Adobe. So I'm not entirely sure how they're going to go about this in terms of how you'll access them and how you're going to pay for it, whether they're going to integrate it into one membership or whether it's all going to become one tool, so just expanding Canva. I'm not really sure how they intend to do it, but I know that either way, based on what both companies are currently doing, it's going to be more cost effective. And so I can see a lot more people looking at that when they're looking at their business expenses and thinking, this is a great software because I can do all the things I need to do to create and design for my business, and it's not going to cost me a fortune. So while we don't know exactly how this is going to pan out and how they're actually going to integrate these softwares, what we do know is that this is going to make a big difference for small business because we can see that these companies really care about the small people. They're not about these great big companies that can afford thousands of dollar software. They're about helping those small businesses like us, making it more accessible and easy and cost effective. And so I think it's really exciting news to see these two companies come together. To me, this is really going to capture the small business and creator segment of the market. And I'm really excited to see where this will go. So let me know in the comments what you think about this and what you think might happen. How do you see this panning out? And if you're somebody that currently uses Adobe or has in the past, or maybe even just thinking about it, has this now got you thinking about, well, maybe Canva might be the thing to do because maybe now it's going to become a much more powerful software to use.